Whether the engagement was real or just a stunt to spare her having to run for vice president as the mother of an unwed mother, Sarah Palin continues to discover what can happen when somebody you used as a prop starts to talk. Our number one story in the countdown, Levi Johnston's version of his ex-future mother-in-law's resignation, not lining up all that well with that of his ex-future mother-in-law. When Governor Palin quit her job on the 3rd of this month, she said it was because of frivolous ethics charges. She said it was all the public money she had to spend to fight those charges. She said it was because she and her family were media targets. But Johnston, determined to extend his 15 minutes, looking to cash in on a tell-all book and a movie, told the Associated Press it was really all about the money. I've heard of people offering books and stuff like that, and actually there's a reality show they wanted to do, but I think the big deal is the book, and that's millions of dollars right there, and she couldn't do that as governor. There was this reaction from Palin family spokeswoman Megan Stapleton. It is interesting to learn Levi is working on a piece of fiction while honing his acting skills. All coming as Palin unwilling to stay out of the media, attacked the media by quoting the media's elder statesman, Walter Cronkite, on Twitter. Most newspapermen, by definition, have to be liberal. If they're not, by my definition, they can hardly be good newspapermen. And Palin's political future seems to be fading. Some Republicans facing re-election next year, dubbing her the NIMBY campaigner. Virginia Congressman Frank Wolf, I generally don't need people from outside my district to do a fundraiser. Nebraska Republican Lee Terry, there's others that I would have come in and campaign, and most of them would be my colleagues in the House. Joining us from Washington, Democratic strategist Chris Kafinas. Chris, good evening. Good to have you back.
Good evening, Keith.
There's a reason cliches are cliches. Be nice to the people you meet on the way up because you're going to meet them again on the way down. A lesson learned by the governor courtesy of Levi Johnston these last few weeks?
I think so. Sometimes you learn the lessons the hard way. I mean, what's amazing about this is when you kind of step back, this has become probably one of the most ridiculous political soap operas, at least of my life. It doesn't seem to ever want to end. There's another twist and permutation that kind of gives us a window into the strange lives of these people back in Alaska. I mean, it was funny to me to read that Levi was talking about how Governor Palin may do a reality show. I was starting to think that the Real Housewives of Wasilla is coming to Bravo anytime soon. It has gotten pretty ridiculous. But again, when you're talking about Sarah Palin, I guess ridiculous has to be redefined.
Bravo, of course, is one of our sister cable networks here in the NBC family, so all I could say to you is be careful what you say out loud on the air. You might be right, maybe by Monday. Is this one of these rare stories, though, where there actually is too much focus on the why, that we're obscuring the simple reality that this happened? I mean, because if you throw out the true higher calling stuff, she did not quit to become ambassador to China or HEW secretary, does it really matter why she quit?
Well, usually it probably wouldn't, but I'll tell you why I think it does. I mean, here is a candidate, and I know this is going to give shivers to some people out there, who I think is actually seriously contemplating a run for president in 2012. So the reasons and the excuses she gives as to why she decided to quit her job 2.5 years in matter. The contradictions matter. That she doesn't seem able to tell the truth. All of those factors matter. It goes to what type of candidate she is. And again, it also, I think, kind of reflects on the Republican Party. I mean, she's become kind of the captain of the Republican Titanic, and you just wonder what other iceberg is she going to steer into. But it does matter. I think whether potential candidates are telling you the truth and telling the American people the truth matters.
Somebody wrote today online, I'm paraphrasing it, she has a base that will never leave her, but will never be big enough to elect her to anything. You heard these quotes from Republicans running next year, but they don't want her around. Not in my backyard. But during the presidential campaign, she got bigger crowds on her own than McCain got on his own. What does it say that she's nearing classification as campaign poison?
I think it really it tells you what kind of candidate she is. One that has a very passionate slice of the electorate, but one that if you're running for office, for example, if you're Bob McDonnell in Virginia or you're Chris Christie in New Jersey, I can bet you they're not going to have Sarah Palin come there because she is effectively the bubonic plague. She will destroy you in terms of alienating moderates, alienating independents, and that is the worst thing you can do when you have a very tough race race as both of those candidates do. But it is, I think, again, indicative of how a lot of Republicans really see Sarah Palin. Yes, she may have a small slice that is passionate about her, but I think most Republicans, when you talk to them, and they've said it publicly in some cases, they realize what a disaster she would be if she ran for president and forced the Republican Party to acknowledge her as a credible candidate.
And yet, there's just that large enough percentage that she can also sink anybody who might come up through the ranks and be a real candidate.
That's right. That's right.
Amazing. Chris Kofinas, Democratic strategist. Always a pleasure to chat, sir. Thanks you very much for your time.
Thanks, Keith.